everyone, and welcome back to the Hazardous Artist Series, episode 16. That's right, 1-6. It has been 16 weeks since I started, and thank you all for joining me on this journey. Today, we are going to continue the cutesy animal series with the manatee. Oh, yes, a long-awaited cutesy animal in the series, especially since it still follows my old way of coloring. But the manatee is actually not what I want to talk about today. But I will give you an interesting fact. The manatee, back in the olden days, was mistaken as a mermaid by sailors. That's right. There were sailors on the sea who thought that this mammal that you see on the screen was a mermaid. And I don't actually see how they could mistake that. But then again, maybe they were high on seawater. I don't really know what they were thinking. Maybe it was foggy. Could have been foggy. Or maybe a siren tricked them to their doom. The world will never know how they mistaken a manatee for a mermaid. But anyway, so that is my fun fact for the day. Let's continue with the story of the day. So today I'm actually going to talk about my brother, my older brother, because I have 3, so this is the middle child of the 4 of us. And he is a very unusual fellow because the way that we show our love to each other is to throw around the deepest, most painful insults you could ever throw around. And this includes throwing the B word around like we're a bunch of dogs in a pack. But okay. So my brother, and that's how we show our love. We never say any cutesy things to each other because first off, that would be weird. I don't think of my brothers as people who would be cutesy at all. So there's no, I love you in our family except to my mom and mainly by me. And I guess my dad, but he makes it really awkward sometimes. So anyway, my brother. So we show our love by throwing insults around each other. And in fact, in my phone, he's actually not it's not his name in my contacts, and it's not my brother in my contacts. His name in my contacts on my phone is Dunscap. So, yeah, that's how our relationship is. But our relationship is a little bit deeper than that. When I still lived with my parents, the 2 of us, or him, myself, and my father would go out and we would look for snakes. And because I love snakes, so why not? We like to photograph them, is what it is. So we do that, but the insults don't stop when we leave the house. Even in public, the insults don't really stop. And that's okay. I'm okay with this because that's how I know they love me still. But there was one particular insult that he made when we were out and about. We were jumping creek beds pretty much this day with another buddy of his. And I don't remember what insult I threw out at him, but he turned around and said, "Yo mama," in my face. And I was so speechless because I thought, but we have the same mom. And I even casually threw that out there in a very shocked, speechless expression. Just, why would you say that? You're dumb kind of expression when I said, we have the same mom. You're insulting your own mother too. And he casually just threw it aside and shrugged it off, laughed about it because he thought it was the funniest joke in the whole world. And I only laughed because I realized how dumb he was in that moment, and I realized I looked a little bit smarter, so I gained a few brain cells at that ridiculous moment. But my brother is very interesting. Dunscap is very interesting. I'm going to call him Dunscap for the rest of this video because I can. Because when we go out, a lot of the time, if he doesn't want to go too far, or if he doesn't have the day off or something, if we're doing a spur of the moment kind of trip, it's nearby. We don't spend a whole lot of time at that particular location before we come home. But then we have our day-long trip. And those are my favorite trips because that means we have to wake up super early, like at 5-6 a.m., and drive between 3 to 5 hours to our destination. And these are always fun because we spend the entire day in the field looking for snakes, and we find, most of the time, there have been a couple days, couple trips in which we didn't find a single snake. But a lot of the time we do find a lot of snakes and other particular wildlife that I like. And one of my favorite habitats in a very love-hate relationship, because I just realized what I just said. One of my favorite habitats is the glade, which is what I would define as a desert on a hill. But if you look up the definition, it is actually when the bedrock is close to or exposed on the surface on a hill, essentially, because that's what it is. But they're interesting because we always find something when we go. Always find something. It may not always be a snake, but there's definitely some things there. And I characterize it as you could flip a rock and there will be something underneath it. It may not be a snake, but it could be other things. Like wasp nests, black widows, tarantulas, scorpions, ants most of the time. Sometimes a frog or a lizard if you're lucky, and then snakes. And I mentioned what's under them for a reason, because my brother has this very interesting thing. He's allergic to bee stings, and he automatically runs when he sees or hears a bee. Except honeybees. I'm not sure about honeybees because they don't typically sting. But anything that's a wasp or a yellow jacket or a hornet, he just boom, off he goes. And I always make the joke that if I see him running, I'm running too. And I have actually had to run because he would just run towards me like a very... Gosh, that's not a I love you insult, my dude. That is a I'm trying to kill you insult. But he'll run towards me, and then it's just like it all hell breaks loose. And then one time I actually got stung by a yellow jacket. All I heard him say after I said ow was run, 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 run. And I had no idea what he was talking about until I turned and the yellow jacket was in my face and I just took off. I should have just took off, but my brother told me to run. He's got some good instincts. But we will spend anywhere from 8 to 15 hours in the field with no food. We have water, because water is essential, but most of the time, if we have food, it's because I'm the one packing it, and most of the time, he won't even eat it. And I think it's because of his adrenaline. I think it's really high when he goes out into the field to look for snakes. So he doesn't normally eat until after. That's why he'll eat before we go on a long trip, and then he'll eat after we go on a long trip. And my brother's actually really kind. I say that we throw insults at each other to show our love for each other, but he'll also pay for my food and, go at my pace in a very unusual way because he'll go ahead, but he'll make sure that I'm, not too far away or something. But, so yeah, he's awesome. Well, guys, that is the end of our video. I really hope you enjoyed my very short story of my brother Dunce-Cap. If you like this video, then hit that like button. Comment below on what you want to say. Maybe you have something to say about my brother. And share with everyone you know. And I will see you guys next week. But until then, dare to create.